see them again. That sacrifice protected some bodies from a different racial background, religious background, ethnic background, and you'll never meet them. That's one of the most important and beautiful things about the military, is that it is protection of the red, white, and blue above all. And so I'm grateful on all days, and I do know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. It is important to make the distinction. But I also think it, in the words of my pastor who's here, I think it not robbery to recognize the vets today on Memorial Day. We can walk and chew them at the same time. We can recognize the battle of the fallen soldier, this painting that represents that, which I got from Woodlawn a few years back. But we can also say that every day should be Veterans Day. We should recognize what they've done every single day.
Favorite senator, Senator Bailey, and I thank Commissioner Hendon as well. What a beautiful room. So, I can remember going as far back as when I was a little kid. My father served in World War II in Europe. He was in the Army Air Force. And so we were aware, I think everybody in those days was aware of honoring those who served our military. In those days, they called May 30th Decoration Day. And I don't remember when it became Memorial Day, and I certainly don't remember when it became a 3-day weekend, a shopping holiday. But in those days, people truly did remember those who served our country. And that is so important, certainly passing it down from generation to generation. I did not serve in the military, and so to me, it's sort of even more important to remember. The commissioner talked about numbers, how many people died, and it's a huge number of people who died serving our country in wars. Although just a few years ago, more people died, even worse, more people died in the pandemic than in any of our wars. But each individual person who gave their lives protects all of our freedoms. It protects the freedoms of the people that some of us may not particularly care for. It protects the freedoms of some of the young people who probably don't know much about history, who participated in some of the horrible things that went on some of the college campuses. It protects their right to hate other people, believe it or not. But that's what our country is all about.
It doesn't cost anything to just say thank you. And I don't think anyone went to go serve to hear the words thank you. It doesn't mean we don't say it. Because as the commissioner said, they don't just make a vow that's greater than their marriage vows or familial vows that they're gonna kill someone. They make a vow that they're gonna lay their life on it. And we know that so many veterans have. And for me, in the position that I hold, it isn't enough for me individually to say thank you to each individual veteran. And at a time when a lot of our veterans or their families maybe question the commitment their government has to them, and they go off and serve, they come back all they want, to be treated with a little respect, get some of the benefits, and then they see perhaps those federal benefits getting cut. And that's got to be painful. I want to affirm that your New York City government, and I, as former chair of the Veterans Committee and a council member of the 11th District, I say thank you. And I don't just say it here. Along with Board President Gibson, I passed legislation naming November as Veteran Appreciation Month for family members of veterans who also make difficult sacrifices. We also said in New York City we want to know who our veterans are so we can take care of them. And so now with legislation that I authored, the New York City Council passed, every city agency asks the question when they do intake forms, they ask, did you serve? And do you want to be contacted by the Department of Veteran Services? Because we need to make sure we're not just saying thank you, we are demonstrating our thanks. And we are, despite what the federal government may be doing in New York City, we are demonstrating our thanks by saying it through official resolutions. And we are demonstrating it with legislation that makes sure we are taking in all of our veterans, making sure that we are looking after them to try to provide the services. And in the New York City Council, funding the initiatives that deal with mental health crises so many of our veterans deal with, and so many of their families deal with when they lose a loved one overseas. That's the commitment we have in New York City to our veterans. And that is the commitment I will continue to fight for. I will continue to fight for those who make it home and those who don't. And I will continue to fight for their families who have also made terrible sacrifices when their family members don't make it home. And I'll just close by thanking once again my colleagues in government, Assemblyman Gentles, and of course Senator Bailey, who every year takes the time and effort to make sure we are having this event to demonstrate our thanks, not just say, but to demonstrate. Thank you.